All right, hello everybody, and welcome to the first gameplay cast of the Not Dead Yet Wargame Tournament. In case you are not aware, this is a tournament hosted by the Wargame subreddit as a celebration of 25,000 subscribers on the subreddit, not on YouTube, of course. And yeah, one of the biggest Wargame tournaments period, I think. Over 50 participants, a prize pool of 175 euros, I believe. So yeah, and since I'm not playing in it due to me organizing it, and I think that while I would not obviously ever do such things, but I think some people might feel uncomfortable, I guess is a way to put it, if I was playing in the tournament while also organizing it, while there's also this big prize pool. And I just don't want any drama, period. So I immediately said, nah, I'm not gonna play it. If we're gonna host another one without the prize money or something, or if someone else is gonna host the tournament, I would play, of course, or most likely. But you know, I just wanted to avoid any drama, accusations, or any of that bullshit. But yeah, I also said that, you know, a couple of games I'd cast, you know, maybe some notable games or certain sets of certain players that I want to cast for one reason or another. I got told that this is a very exciting match between Firestarter and deepblue. deepblue, I'm not 100% certain. I think he might be a Chinese wargame player, but it doesn't really matter too much anyways. He is a brigadier though, as you might see, so he should be pretty good. I think that's all I have to say. But before we get into the actual cast, let's take a look at the decks. So here we have Firestarter's deck. And let me open this up for me. Oh, there we go. Firestarter's Eurocore deck. It's just very. He's holding on to those Jäger. I most definitely do not agree to that. He also does not use a Peace Shrine. He doesn't use the KWS. Either he's just way too lazy to just simply adjust his Eurocore deck and is like, it has, you know, he's like, it has worked for me for the past 2 years, I'm not gonna bother changing it. Maybe he's like that. It's certainly not bad, you know, but in my opinion there could be some significant improvements. I'm also, a lot of people like it, but I still think that the M110 in 1 versus 1 scenarios is not worth it. But that's just my opinion. But yeah, other than like, well, no, I guess other than, but I mean, Jäger, MX40 in a way, I guess you could say, no Tiger, the weird recoilless rifle cheaps, no KWS, no Peace Shrine. It's kind of a weird choice. I like that he uses the F1CT. I might even also consider using it instead of the second card of Peace Shrines that I have, I believe. Simply because it's really not the best cluster plane, but having an okay cluster plane just as a choice can sometimes be really nice. Again, it's not gonna be useful at all times, but I think just there are these situations where it can be so good. And now let's take a look at deepblue's deck. He is playing Entente, as you obviously see. At first glance, I don't really notice anything too much. He is playing it with a FOB and with a Never M1T. He's using the 40-point supply trucks, which I believe get, for no good reason, +1 availability. Still, I think when you're using a FOB, I don't think using the 40-point or expensive supply trucks is the best choice, because usually those carry more supply per point and also per card. But I think when you're playing with a FOB, supply efficiency per point on the supply trucks isn't as important. In that case, you probably want to use the cheaper ones, that either the 30 or 15-point ones, since Entente doesn't have access to 20-point ones, just so that you can resupply much faster. And since you're having it with a FOB, you can be a lot more lenient on buying supply trucks, and that means that you could also just buy 15-point supply trucks here and there, and thus not have to fear, and thus you don't really have to fear wasting those, since you can just put them back to the FOB. But yeah, nothing really too outstanding. Above 30, the SPAT above 30, I think most people simply prefer the SPAT above 3, which is while having less range, 1 step less range. it is cheaper and also offers a higher rate of fire, which should be said. Again, other than that, nothing too fancy. Oh, one more thing. He only has one card of Recon Infantry, and that is also Elite, so only 4 squads of Recon Infantry. Not a huge deal, since very often you have or rather often you have an M84AN near the front line, especially near your main push, or one of those cheap T55s. Still, me personally, I just don't like having so few Recon Infantry units. Alright, now let's actually get into the cast. Let's quickly go through the deployment. It might be a full 40-minute game, so I might speed this up at some point to like twice the speed or something. I don't know if I can last that long. I'm not really the best at casting, and I'm also still a bit under the weather. And yeah, this is a full 40-minute game. Holy shit. Alright. So seems like a push towards Bravo, if I had to guess. He isn't really all too heavy anywhere, or I guess he is significantly heavier on the right side, but he is not like going all in on Bravo. He's still putting a significant amount of defenses on Foxtrot and on near Alpha. I think when you're pushing Bravo, you don't need as much in Alpha, since you can pretty easily reroute your units here. Very, very conservative push, I'd say. Looking at Firestarter, obviously you have the MX Sense. He's starting with a lot of units here. I guess he probably expects the Bravo push and wants to defend here, and I suppose if he wins that push, potentially go for this. Going after getting Bravo, going for this area is always awkward. I'm still in a position where I'm figuring out how to properly push in this area. Yeah. Also a good amount of stuff on the right. So maybe, I guess he's expecting either mid or Bravo push, wants to defend that, and at the same time expects, I suppose, the enemy to not have a lot in Foxtrot and get Foxtrot kind of for free. So I guess, if I had to guess, the sentiment is have a little less units on defense, but since you're defending, you have an easier time, but more points on the offense. And I'm not sure if you get what I'm trying to say here. In any case, let's just see how this goes. So Leclerc and this little unit, so he's going for this open field. Hera and Mi-17 basically nearly stop him from getting the town. The Legion 90 get in there, but they are panicked, so they will lose against the Patabranzi, especially since he doesn't have a lot of fire support. He's going for this force. He does. One issue I have here is he doesn't really have a whole lot of supporting units for this Leclerc. He has only 3 infantry squads. Also, I shouldn't have sped up as much, but where did this AA go? Did he not start with AA on this side? I guess maybe he fucked up with the Crotal. Also, he isn't pushing here at all. Very, very defensive. Very kind of weird opener from both sides. Both are very hard on defending their weak sides where they aren't pushing. Firestarter also only starting with 1 CV. Like me personally, when I push this area, probably would have bought like a Mina 3, a Commandos Para, and maybe an MX 10 or 13 here. I wouldn't have bought this, or these 2 squads. Same from this side. I probably would have only bought like maybe a Specialnia and a Conqueror's M. Not saying it's wrong, but it's just, I think most people also do it like that. Like me, I should say. M84AN getting very low. Orao coming in. Interesting that he buys the Orao instead of the Super Gala, which he also has access to. I suppose it's probably just he didn't have any more points. Leclerc gets out alive. Orao doesn't get any missiles out, but also gets out alive. Crotal out of missiles. Not really any helicopters to punish though. Firestarter does get this forest, still doesn't have the town though. And I don't think he will get the town anytime soon, since he doesn't really have the fire support to assault the town. And the Patabranzi should fairly easily be able to deal with like AMX 10s or more than once if they come too close. And this is, I think, where Firestarter's deck is gonna struggle, and that is assaulting this town. He doesn't really have access to a whole lot of cheap fire support. MX10s and MX13s are his best chance. I guess MX13s will work quite well, but yeah. Overall, though, I think that Firestarter is in a better position because deepblue, while he will for a while, I'd imagine, hold on to this town, he doesn't have any Conqueror's M or something in there, so his influence over the outside area here is not very big, which means that Firestarter can pretty safely reinforce his forest and basically snipe any reinforcements that may come to the town. So I think it's probably only a matter of time until Firestarter gets his town, and you shouldn't really rush on getting it, since, again, as long as you have just some MX10s or something sitting around preventing the infantry from going outside of the town, this is doing nothing. So yeah, hold on to this, and honestly, I guess just see what the opponent does. He does have the Commando Spada sniping around, so that could do some nice stuff. Maybe get some potential snipes with the M110s. Let me quickly pause this game. Take a look at this. He does have a 4, but he didn't start with it. Okay, that may explain why he has the 40-point supply drugs in there. I've seen this Nanda do as well on some decks, where he does put in a fob and 2 cards of supply drugs. Simply, you know, you might think that, oh, when you're, and I would agree, if you're playing with a fob, why would you need 2 cards of supply drugs? But very few players, and that does not include me, sometimes put in a fob and supply drug with the expecting that they might just start the game without a fob, and that is very interesting. I think for a tournament it does make a lot of sense, or this tournament, because they can't change the decks mid-round. That was, I guess, a cannon. Still, you don't see that very often, and I find that a bit fascinating. So he's assaulting this town. Only 1 Mechanism One has got left, and he smoked off his own Jäger. But I think as soon as these Panzergrunts are getting in there, I don't think they will suffer too much damage. The PBs are dead, killed by the Marder ones, so yeah, he actually has an easier time getting into the town than I imagined. That's very good for Firestarter. I didn't spend too many points here. Still, 40 points on those 2 Panzergrunt squads. 80 points, sorry. 40 points on the 2 Jäger squads. That's a whole lot. But yeah, also, yeah, the Leclerc or any MX10 or anything didn't stop him, deepblue, from getting back into the forest. That's actually very bad. I'm pretty sure that Firestarter will lose this forest, unless he may be able to. I don't think the Leclerc will do all too much here. Orao still up in the air, but Firestarter has to smoke up. The target gets another hit yet again, and the Orao gets out alive once again. Okay, I was about to say he should buy some AA. There are 2 Roland 3, so that's gonna be. It's gonna shut down most of the lane play by deepblue. MI17 a tad too late. Can't really do too much here. L17K gets killed by the Rolands. More push in mid, just probing, not really doing all too much. Mechanizovana focused on the infantry, getting wrecked by the Mother one. He should definitely. Firestarter does see this, so I'm surprised to not see move up the Panzergrunts. Ooh, that MX10 could have done a lot of work if it hadn't been killed by the Conqueror's M. Okay, smoking off the MX13s, good job, but Firestarter can and should just move them up and kill the shit that is out there in the open. That's actually, I actually kind of miss it. Surprised to see those units. They're very average. That's really the best way to describe them. They're not horrible, but I don't really see a reason to use them either. I'm just wondering, is Firestarter busy anywhere else? No, not, okay, finally he's moving up. No M110s just yet. Reinforce some Jäger here, but I think the action will focus here. MX-13's here again, not again, but doing a nice job here. Panzergrunts killing the remaining infantry. Oh, unfortunately those Commander Spada get spotted. MI-35 can do a lot of work because Firestarter just has not been moving up his AA. Actually, the Leclerc Crotale is up here, but only one missile left. Making use of the fob. That's also a very, very common mistake that people sometimes, or even very often, start with the fob and barely make use of it. Like if you have a fob, just repair and resupply all your units. Like after a while, like after 3, 4, 5 supply trucks, if you manage to keep them alive, which isn't too hard most of the time, it's just free supply. If you're ending the game, unless it's a 10-minute game or something, but if you're ending a game and the fob still is like 10,000 supply left, or even more, you know, this in the end it's probably just wasted points. So make use of that fob if you start with one. And we also see the first M110 coming out. I'm very interested to see how much it does. I think an LRM is a better choice here. Second M110 coming in. LRM, or if you definitely want Tube RD, a Caesar, but sorry, M270. Did I say LRM or M110? I don't know. But I think the best choice would be an LRM. Second best choice probably Caesar. But that's just my opinion. I could be wrong. I'm not saying I'm definitely right. It's just how I feel about artillery. So finally Firestarter is in his force again, and finally he has his Leclerc there. So he should have a much easier time sniping these reinforcements. Urao gets killed, nearly kills these Rolands with its rocket pods. Rolands, those are the weak ones, have no armor, so they could have very easily died. Nice smoke here, moving up to clear those Conquerors M. I don't know. Yeah, okay, no, never mind. Nearly worked out, but he definitely should have moved up these Legion 90 much earlier. Panzerguns unfortunately get killed before they can actually do anything. Leclerc is more or less on its own, but there's not really all too much it can damage it. So I think he can be a bit aggressive here, but he's just playing it safe. Oh, T-64C actually hits. And I guess it can't spot... Oh no, never mind. Yeah, now it's dead. There are the M110s. No, they're not. There are the M110s. Where are they firing? Into the forest? No? Just firing these positions here. Not really doing a whole lot so far. Another commander's power is sneaking around, so with the infantry CV being out in the open, he doesn't really have to move into a special place to spot it. So if I had to guess, we're probably gonna see a spawn CV snipe. Oh no. And that's why the Crotale can well, I guess the Mi-35 is shaken, so it misses all the missiles. It was unlucky. I guess in a way from both of them, but I think mostly for Firestarter. At least he didn't lose his Crotale. I think Firestarter would probably be more happy in this scenario. Leclerc having to move back again. Small push in mid once more, but I don't think it'll really do much. The Mi-4A should probably move up into either here or there, or just move up anywhere where it can actually shoot. They only shot once so far, and it's been sitting there for quite a while. Hey, he cleared out those Congress and moved up here, so there's some... I think there was something else in there, but he killed something with the M110s. That's good. Mi-4A missing on the M113. Also, Firestarter having no recon here. Against the Mi-4A, and that is actually quite dangerous. Also, most of the stuff in mid actually died. I guess, yeah, okay. If you look at the M account of the PB, they did a whole lot of work. Oh, and that's a very This is such a Firestarter play. I don't know how aware you are of this. I guess in a way it's a meme now. But Firestarter has a habit of buying CVs way too early. And this was one of those situations. He barely has a foothold here. Like, he barely has a foothold and decides to buy and decides to buy a CV only for the CV to not have any save spot once it arrives. This is such a Firestarter level play. I love it. Okay. But honestly, I'm actually kind of surprised the way it's looking for a Firestarter. I mean, sure, he, like, he's been not really losing these engagements, but he still has his Leclerc. He has a lot of expensive units still alive, and yet he's losing on ground. It's probably just, yeah, I think it's the fact that for once he started with the fob, although I guess you could argue that's why he didn't start with the second 3, but also he spent 140 points on those M110s, which could be, for example, 7 Jäger squads. And it takes a while for most artillery to pay off. And then there's these weird flanking maneuvers that he sometimes does. You know, he didn't really lose all too much, just the Martyr one. Oh, okay, nearly lost it, Leclerc. Autopranzi 90. Yeah, obviously, I don't think it needs to be said, but they are obviously ridiculously good. But, you know, in the meantime, he also just casually lost this foothold. And deepblue has been pushing all this time, barely with any tanks. I think outside of the M84AN here, and the one he bought at the start, I don't think I've seen any actual tanks by him. I don't think so. Oh, that's very interesting. And the M84ANs also haven't really done a whole lot of work. I guess the M84AN did a good amount of... How do I say that? Like, indirect work just by... Like, Firestarter knows there's an M84AN here, and he knows he can't spot it, and he knows it's dangerous. So that's probably indirectly affected Firestarter as well, just by its pure presence, you know? As weird as it may sound. In the end, yeah, he's smoking it off now. For those Panzergrunts to move up with the Martyr one. Oh, that's a bit dangerous for the Rodents, but yeah, he wanted to snipe that MI35. Also, he should probably get into the town first before trying. Why is he even going for this force? Is what I'm asking myself here. Trying to get complete control over Bravo is very, very cost intensive, point intensive, right? So there's only two situations where you would do that. One is where you're completely wrecking your opponent and you just roll over him. The second one is just where you're just doing a kind of desperation push or just a random push and see, you know, maybe I can do something there, and then suddenly you make something happen. But he's constantly fighting over this, he's losing this, and he just lost this town as well, so why is he pushing here? This doesn't give him any actual advantage. And unless deepblue invests like something heavy here, like an M84AN, or I guess a Congress M squad kind of as well, he doesn't really put any pressure on it. But even if that were here, even if those kind of units were here, what would that allow deepblue to do? Like, sure, it would allow him to push into the town easier, but pushing into the town without getting this is stupid anyways. So why is Firestarter going for this? To a certain extent, why is deepblue also investing so much in it? But even more so than Firestarter, because Firestarter is on a back foot, right? He can't really afford doing this. He should have gone for a town, this forest, or reinforced in mid. Instead, he's wasting points on this, which, yeah, he shouldn't do. As I always like to do, and I should always do this at the start, I know that hindsight is 2020, and I do these kind of mistakes myself, you know, just in case you're thinking that I'm trying to act like, yeah, I'm so smart, I know everything better. You know, I make these kind of mistakes all the time. But casting a replay also shows you and others, you know, what you shouldn't do. And then once you're in a game, you might remember this one time Razzmann said, hey, don't do this. And then you're like, yes, I shouldn't do this. Back to the game, though. Mid, just some small skirmishes, though, but Firestarter are not really making any advances. Buying a second Leclerc. He does have... Let's take a quick look at this deck again. He does have Leopard 2A4 as well in his deck. MX40 probably not the best choice, because with 12 front armor, and AMX 40 does get one shot by Padobranzi up front. Okay, 80 point tank gets one shot by Padobranzi 90 up front. You know, let it sink in. When I would have preferred in my, like for my Eurocore deck, a Leopard 2 or 2A1. But I think a 2A4, if you want a tank, would have done the same job. Of course, he doesn't really know what exactly he has there, but I think he also hasn't really seen a tank just yet, so he doesn't really know. I think a Leopard 2A4, or even just, or if you know, a Leopard 2A4 would have done the same job. In hindsight, just MX 10s and MX 13s are enough. But I think a Leclerc is a bit overkill here. Yeah. He also smoked this off, but still hasn't done anything with those yet. What he should have done is move those up and cover them with his Leclerc. Because if the M84AN wants to shoot at them, it has to move up in the open, and then he can spot it with his Leclerc. He has to, you know, maneuver a bit and has to be careful about those Padobranzi, but up until now, they were engaged, so Firestarter knew where they were. And now he kind of missed his opportunity. But I think the problem is just that he's currently microing on like here, this area, and then also a bit down there, while also managing his M110s. So, you know, it's all, again, like I said, it's easy to say from a caster's perspective, you know. Nobody's perfect. And M110s, oh yeah. I nearly forgot to mention. Mi-35 flew over the Commandos para, and Commandos para shot, like one shot, as you see on the assault or battle rifle, and got damaged a good amount by the Mi-35, but deepblue didn't notice it, and yep. What he probably should have done is wait a bit and get his Commandos para out into a safe position. Maybe a bit further away, like into this area, maybe even down into that. Mark this with a marker. If you want to be very patient, mark this and see if you can find Alpha CV before they die. But on the other hand, he also is ticking. deepblue was ticking +3 with only 18 minutes left, so I guess maybe it was actually the right choice, because he definitely needs something to catch up in this game. He's finally deciding to move this up now that now that the smoke faded away and the M84AN has full vision. He decided to move out his martyrs. Gets another Crotal when he could have moved this one down probably. Which just gets killed by a T55, that's unfortunate. Leclerc gets side shot by the PB. 3 damage. Oh my god, that's unfortunate. That's very unfortunate. What are they shooting now? Oh, he's... okay. Oh, he didn't stop their salvo. So I guess, considering that Firestarter told me that this is a very exciting match, I assume it revolves around Charlie. Because so far, while it hasn't been boring, it hasn't been like all too outstanding what has been happening here, other than your typical Firestarter mistakes. Mi-35 did find a Commandos power. It doesn't look like deepblue paid attention. It looks like he only gave it a moving command in here instead of a attack command, and quickly zoomed into another part of the map and didn't notice this. So, hang on. Let's see. He doesn't spot the USC just yet. Also firing in here, trying to snipe the CV. No, okay. Commandos Pattern are dead, finally. I didn't pay attention to whether they managed to spot the USC. Definitely, as soon as he killed those, he should have moved his USC again. Especially, you know, keep it in cover at all times, because you don't know if there's a second scout. Some people just send around 1 over the whole match. Others keep trying, and others just send 2 or even 3 at the same time around several flanks. So that's why you don't just put your CV into a forest so it is in cover. But you also put it in there that once it's in there and you see that the unit card isn't blinking like it is here. If it's not blinking like on the M84A, you know it's spotted. Especially shortly after you just killed a scout or something and you put it in there. If you immediately see it's not blinking, that you know, okay, there's a second scout in the area. And then you probably want it somewhere out in the open where it can't get, you know, where infantry is too far away to shoot at it, while also heavily paying attention to the artillery though. until you find that scout. And once you're somewhat certain that there's no infantry recon left anywhere, then you put it back into an area. Preferably not the same area where you first see was. Leclerc getting pushed out again by all this infantry. Again, still, this is the only tank he bought after the first M84AN. In the meantime though, Firestarter has managed to kill nearly all of the infantry or all of the stuff here. deepblue probably is like, alright, he can't really save this CV, is probably his thought process, so he might as well just let it sit there and get as many points off of it as he can. And you know, it is paying off, I'd say, because Firestarter is a bit hesitating. He doesn't want to move up his Leclerc without any infantry cover, and the Jäger, being panicked and only line infantry, they're not the fastest, so good decision by deepblue. And I'm not, you know, with the vision I have, Firestarter obviously should just push up, but I think anyone in Firestarter's position would probably also be as cautious as he is, and that is the right call as well. He decided to move his Leclerc up this side. I assume he's probably, the only thing that I can imagine what he's doing now is trying to go either for Alpha or maybe a Foxtrot push over this area, or both at the same time, which wouldn't be too dangerous. M84A being bought for this flank. I guess now what deepblue wants to do is just play defensively. All he needs to do really is try to not lose Alpha and not lose Foxtrot. Losing Bravo completely is certainly not impossible, but very hard. Or I should say it is very hard for Firestarter to completely conquer Bravo. So the main thing deepblue needs to do is just not lose this part of Alpha, which with indirect fire support can be a bit tough, but as long as you can hold on to this and maybe get a tank in here, it's certainly possible. Oh my god, that was M110 just sniped these sniping moving targets with M110s is just the most funny and ridiculous shit there is. At this range, I believe the Leclerc should be able to spot the M84AN once the M84 is firing. Razzmann being bought to slow him down. It's gonna be tough though, because he doesn't really have a whole lot of stuff to stop him. I think the 90 points probably would have been a better spent at something else. Orao, Galeb would have been a better choice. Of course, it is more expensive, but paying 30 points more for even having the chance of actually killing a Leclerc up front. The Orao is never gonna kill it up front. So that's... and we know that it's a new one because the first one died, so... not the best. But Firestarter, he will need a bit more than just a +1, which is what he'll get here, in order to win. Doesn't really have a whole lot of time, and deepblue is at this point still ticking. There are 15 ticks per minute, so at 1+1 he will get 150 points over 10 minutes. So he'll need like more than a +3 on average. Just a +3 on over 10 minutes would only be a... no, actually I think at 450 points should still be a win, just barely. Maybe not quite. No, I don't think it's just quite. But I mean, we'll see. It does put major pressure on here. Buying a 2A5 as well. I think he does have 2 Leclercs already. I think instead of buying a 2A5, he should have bought a mass of AMX-10s and MX-13s and the like. Because tanks have never been an issue, and he already has 2 Leclercs to do with tanks. Actually, never mind, he has 1 Leclerc. Oh no, the second one is here. He has 2 Leclercs, so he might as well just buy like AMX-10s and MX-13s to do with like all the cheap shit and all the infantry that's being sent. CV's getting killed by the cannon, and also spotting the UC back there. Oh my god. So while his sides collapsed, he just bum rushed through the mid. deepblue not being able to respond really. Kills the Iltis though. And Firestarter just not caring about this shit over here at all. already bought it. I think he already preemptively bought an Iltis anyways. Okay, finally kills it Isu Diach, which could have killed the Iltis if he was unlucky. And the funny thing is, by pushing here, he kind of, oh my god, he kind of forced deepblue to send stuff he has on his flanks in desperate attacks to stop him, and that is usually very inefficient. And that's why he's now being very weak on the flanks here and still kind of there. SL cannons being bought probably to just spot UACs and spot CVs to snipe with this for his M110s to snipe. Let's see, yeah, spots the UAC. Or I guess just shouldn't be able to kill. Yeah, they're not, but they spot the UAC. He should really see if he can spot this because they're still alive, so he has a good chance of just spotting this. Kills the CV here with his M110s. See, the Iltis is being forced out as well though by the fire in the bush. I guess you could. I'm not gonna make a Firestarter joke, I'm sorry. +3 over 5 minutes. Not enough. And now it's a +3 again. This is. I'm wondering, deepblue, if he's gonna. How many CVs did Firestarter snipe? I think he sniped 2 in here. 1 in there. There's 3 CVs sniped. 1, 2, 3, 4 on the field. That's 7 CVs, and deepblue has access to 9. Oh my god! I am so sorry. I am so sorry that I had to deck up all the time. Oh my god, that's such a Razzmann thing to do. Oh my god. Oh my god. I'm not gonna re-record this. No way. Fuck you guys. Oh my god. In any case. Oh my god. I can't wait for the comments. Holy shit. That's that's how you know that I'm a professional. 2F5 just doesn't care about the Mi-35. I mean, the Mi-35 would need like 10 missiles to hit up front to kill the 2F5, so yeah. I mean, he did crit the 2F5, but now the thing is, I don't think Firestarter can win unless he snapped his spawn CV. Okay, maybe he can win. If he manages to snipe this CV before it reaches the spawn, I think at this point deepblue is like, it's probably not worth to try to send this back because that might be even more dangerous. Oh no, he probably just didn't realize it until now. By the way, those are not healer rushes in no way, in case you're wondering. That does not classify as a healer rush. Another CV being bought, but no way that he can put his CV back into alpha now. So I guess what Firestarter is now trying to do is keep Charlie uncapped and get a +4. That's not enough? I don't think that's enough. Even a +4 wouldn't be enough. Maybe he can get a draw? He might be able to get a draw. He needs like 365 points or something along those lines. Oh yeah, if he can get a +4, it's enough. Oh my. He brought an Iltis to Charlie. Holy shit. It's not in yet. It's not in yet. Oh, it's in. I don't think it's a draw. I don't think so. It's a defeat. Oh my god. Jesus. I mean, I have to admit, I kind of expected in the end that Firestarter will pull something weird off, but holy shit. He actually managed to get into the spawn. Damn, I mean, this was such a Firestarter game, honestly. This is making these mistakes with buying the CV too early, just not caring about certain units being there, pushing in weird cases when you're getting pushed on the other side of the map and you're losing. And then in the end managing to just bum rush through the middle, ignoring the flanks and just getting into spawn. What can I say? Other than Jesus Christ, such a Firestarter game. I hope you are able to enjoy this, even though the deck was up for like half the for I don't know how long. So that was funny, at least for me. I think that's also the reason why I will cast a good amount or most or all the remaining casts that I'll do live. I'll probably stream in like roughly a week, a bit more than a week at some point during the evening EU times, so that you can make me aware of those things if that happens. I think that's really all that has to be said. Hope you still managed to enjoy it. Maybe that made you enjoy it even more for some reason, because you're like, oh my god, this fucking idiot. How does he even have fucking 4,000 subscribers on YouTube when he's such a... Yeah. I think that's all that I have to say. I'm not sure if I'm gonna cast the other 2 games of this set. If I will, I'll probably do it during set live stream. Yeah, that's just one little taste of what you can hopefully expect from the replays of the Not Dead Yet tournament. Very exciting. Currently in round 2, not even near the quarterfinals yet, because I mean 50 players signed up, double elimination, best of 3s until the, I think, semifinals or quarterfinals. Then it's best of 5s. You know, a lot of games, a lot of good players, and Firestarter. And yeah, hope you enjoyed it, and I'll hopefully see you in the next one.